Good morning, and welcome to the on-air version of Pundit Friday on Dateline New Haven, WNHH FM, your home for community radio. I'm Paul Bass, host, inviting you to look behind the headlines.
Oh, y'all should hear the conversation before we get on air.
The stories that make New Haven tick. Nothing ticks better than Pundit Friday. About to begin here in the WNHH studio with the number one pundits in the media universe. Pundits like the dairy-free goddess of our grassroots radio operation, Bill of our ball, managing editor of the New City News, host of WNHH's Love Babs, Love Talk.
I love you all. I love you all.
Babs shows I've been going strong after a week of grueling radio and nights on the town. We got the queen of quippery, quintessence of compassion, La Voz Hispana, publisher Norma Rodriguez Reyes.
¿Qué pasa?
With the right fist.
We got, you know who else we got? We got the detonator of digital dynamite.
Detonator. He needs to be detonated.
We got the master of memes. We got the christener of creative crowdsourced crockery.
Okay.
We got the premier punk popping pugilist.
Oh my God, I got to take
Preordained pastor and
Jacket
prophet of
off.
paradise, DJ of deliverance, filial force of fortuitous fomentation, ouster of obstinance, and ostentation, the savior of civility, hurricane of heavenly homily, the conqueror of cannabis, commerce, the bright light in the New Haven night, the straight shooter from Bermuda, the mystical and metaphorical man on the money, tackler of tempestuousness and titan and temperance, banisher, bilious bullies, the prince of pleasantries and punctuality, sorcerer of scientific solution, blessed beatboxer of banksters and bacchanalians, the just-in-time judge of jackals and japery.
Yeah.
The righteous reaper of restitution. Mr. Top 2%er. Bernie doesn't bother with him because he's just a millionaire. He's not a billionaire. Mr. Joe Ugly of the Joe Ugly Show in the morning. Hey, folks, I'm glad you're all here. I was a little worried.
Oh.
I was worried because did you have to catch a school bus to get here?
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Because I was worried because if you're used to riding for years to get a school bus here in New Haven, it might have ended up the school bus actually went a mile away. They didn't tell you. Or else they wanted you to walk. And Norma thinks you should do this in like minus 20 degrees in a hurricane.
Hey, I used to do it so everybody else can.
Uphill both ways.
I'm with you, Norma.
Folks.
That's right.
Left, right.
We need to build resilience.
Characters.
Resilience.
Characters. Yes, resilient. Yeah, you're right.
Folks, I was
y'all
feeling
sound
it.
like y'all in Russia.
Well, the stories that
Sometimes you got to take it back.
the stories that came out this week.
Yes.
I mean, because
Oh,
last
Paul,
week we
some
knew
of
there
those
was
stories broke my heart.
It broke
Yes.
my heart. So everyone
Yes.
know that a week ago they started school, and they had a really good idea. It was let's cut a lot of money by making the bus stops make more sense. But they forgot to tell everybody where they were moving the bus stops and find out where there might be mistakes. They let them know the last couple of days before school starts. The parents freak out. They have a sit-in pretty much. So now weeks later, they're more in trouble than they were when school opened. They have thousands of complaints they haven't caught up with. They said it's going to be till October when they're going to try to figure out how to get kids to school. And meanwhile,
But do they have complaints, thousands of complaints, or just a few, like maybe 20 issues?
No, they had,
No.
They had 3,000
Complaints.
Yeah, some of that
complaints.
might, some of that might be duplicative. There were 1,500 complaints, but there were 1,500 separate to the school board, 1,500 separate to the really nasty people at the bus company who
And
were
they
mean
should
to these
get them.
parents.
And
So some
the
of that,
school,
but there are at least 2,000.
the school bus company should catch a lot of this work, and they're not getting as
But
much
ain't
as
they
they
No,
say.
it's not the school bus
No,
people.
no.
It
Here's
can't be their fault.
Babs. Here's my
Can't be their fault.
Here's my situation with this. What I got to say about this is they're the expert. They understand the routes. They understand what it is. If I contract with someone, I expect that person to come and tell me,
Joe.
"Hey, Joe, no, let me finish, please." All they have to do is say, "This is what you're looking for. This is what we will. This is what we can deliver with what you look with the budget you're
Does
giving
Joe
us."
have shares in First Student? or
Ah.
something?
Must.
I'm against them right now.
Yeah.
How could I have shares?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
See, I don't think
Always
it's this-
covering for the school people. School board people.
No, Lord knows I'm not doing that.
because
but I'm just
I
being
think the
quiet
bus
here.
company has to take their cues from whoever pays them. So the Board of Education, the school is paying them. So the school says, these are the routes that I want. This is the route. The bus people can't say, I disagree.
No, but they can say, "Listen, we're the expert, and this is what we think makes sense."
But here's the
and
thing.
they don't want to do any input, but just take a check. I got
Joe
a problem
Babs,
with that.
I'm not hearing what was the bottom line here.
What was the bottom?
The bottom line was, of course, you're going to have some mistakes. There are always mistakes. Every school year starts, a few bus routes get messed up.
Right.
They didn't tell anybody
And that is a
that they
problem.
were changing. This was
And
the
that is
school
a
That's,
problem.
board.
that's poor
That's
leadership at the Board of Education.
Exactly.
But the
Okay.
Board of
I agree with you
Education
on
has
that.
had poor leadership for quite some time.
Right.
So they got to deal with that.
So what broke my heart,
That woman that lost her job,
she lost her job. She got
I
a
wish
new
she'd get an
job,
attorney and sue
and
them.
she couldn't show up because her kid was left out there on the street. And this other guy had to go
So
into
she had to get
personal
off her
debt.
job to go get this kid.
And there was story after story like
Like
that.
she lost her
and
job.
you know, the people were standing up in their work shirts. There were people like, I work for this kind of fast food place. I work for this custodial company. These are people getting smacked upside the head.
Because you depend on this thing to run smoothly. You got to be the work. And when you are punching a clock,
I clearly understand,
I don't know when the
Beth.
last time I punched a clock. It had been about 30, 40 years since I punched anybody's clock. But I remember what that's like. I remember when my mother had to punch a clock.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother would say, please don't make me get off this job to have to come deal with you in school if you get in trouble, all that kind of stuff.
And of course, every problem over the year included an element in the school board where they just can't communicate with anybody.
There are two sides to every story.
It's like
you
this
know what?
Board of Education hates kids.
It sure seems that way. But I got to tell you, Babs, you're right when you say it is their responsibility to inform the parents and let the parents know, listen, we're going to be making these changes. Paul, you're absolutely right about that. I'm not even going to question on that. I'm going to actually hold their feet to the fire big time over there, Board of Ed. I'm not going to let the school bus company walk free from not being.
I'm with you on that. They were very rude to the parents about fixing up to make better.
That goes to show that they're not holding themselves responsible.
They're
not taking any form of fashion.
I don't think calling the bus company I don't think it's their fault.
Oh no! But
yes, it is.
How they deal with the public when they're
it is their fault.
It is their fault.
But I think when you get all these calls and you're not accustomed to this amount of calls. I don't think,
Then what you got a customer service for?
Yeah.
Customer service is not their strong. Like, that's not what they do.
But then don't have somebody answering the phone. Let it go to voicemail.
Oh, like the Board of Ed, that phone number that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Is it appropriate,
Oh my
folks,
God.
to give career advice to people in public jobs?
What?
Why not?
On Friendly Pundits, is it appropriate for me to offer some career advice?
Yes.
Of
Why
course.
not?
Okay.
Why not?
Carol Burks is the superintendent of schools.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of you might agree with me that she was given an impossible job that she never had a chance to succeed in.
But it's an impossible job.
I don't think we're not mad at Carol Burks. We're not saying you stink. But there is no question that they're going to be kicking her out.
Oh, yeah.
The primary's over.
Yeah.
Her evaluation's coming.
Yeah.
If I were Carol Burks, unlike another prominent woman in town who's very smart and very beloved, she needs to know when the writing's on the wall and leave on her terms.
Yeah.
Carol Burks, you got a month.
One more.
Maybe
for
she's
the
already
road.
taken this advice. She was trying to hang on because she wanted the job. She wanted to do it right. She wanted to succeed. She came here to work.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't happening. I think she should leave on her terms. Go find yourself a good job, a consultancy. Don't get fired. Don't have a big fight that's all over the internet.
This is not the hill you want to die on.
Yeah.
I think
so
because
correct.
people.
You guys are so right
Well,
when you
because
say you don't want to die on that hill because you don't want it on the internet. You search someone's name today and boom, it pops up.
But
that's
just be on your terms.
Right.
Because everyone can sympathize and say, like, for instance, let's say you're a very successful elected official, the most beloved in the city, and you have a great career. Let's say your name's John DeStefano, for instance. I wasn't thinking of him. Let's say him. You're mayor for 20 years. You had a good run. And then you realize, okay, my time's up. It might not be fair. People say, my time's up. I'm not going to win. So he steps aside on his terms. Carol Burks, people can sympathize. When Garth Harris left on his terms at the end, he could explain to people. There was this whole political fight in New Haven. You're going to see all these articles. It was mixed up. We did some good things. She can leave on her terms and have a credible argument that I walked into an impossible political situation. And from day one, it was marked, and look how they pulled the rug under me. But if she gets fired and has an ugly mess,
and she's going to get fired. The writing is on the writing has been on the wall for quite some time.
They just held it off for the primary.
This is the thing with people, Paul, and adversity and challenge has taught me this: that you have to let go of ego, and you have to let go of attachment, and you have to let go of this feeling of, I want people to see that I can actually do this. See,
sometimes it's good to fight. But
sometimes absolutely. You got to know when to fold them.
John DeStefano really
and you got to know how to sit at the bar, drink your last drink, and get the hell up out of the bar.
You know, DeStefano had the most strategic exit. He did that all on his terms. He looked at, he said, like, they're coming for me. And people are a little tired of me. I loved when they loved me. And they're tired of me now.
Yeah.
And the unions are gunning for me. They just beat me out of 70-18 primaries. They gave me a chance to go on my terms. And he did it beautifully, and everyone slapped him on the back.
Listen,
I said to Carol Burks, listen, just live by the hand. If you make a fist, you've held your hand too tight. You're afraid to let any
So
good
there is
out.
a
You
bus
just held it
leaving
too
at
tight.
a scheduled time out of town. These
You
are
just
school
cut me
buses,
off.
but she can get on that
She
bus.
can get on that bus.
And
just
she
cut
can
me
get
off.
air conditioning, Wi-Fi, movies. She can cruise.
Because people don't like people have a personal attachment to defeat in public political spaces. This is why Ganim ran again. This is why the boyfriend in Hartford ran again, because they want to prove to people that they are good enough and they are worthy and admirable enough to do
Okay,
this.
Babs, now I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I would never run again.
Not you. Did you just describe what New Haven Mayor Tony Hart might be preparing to do?
Yes.
Well, because you're a big supporter of hers.
I am a big supporter, but
she
I also
lost the primary this week by a big margin, and she did not. The black vote did not come out for her.
That's my point. See, now
she's facing a general election where now pundits, smarty pants like us always say, well, you got 18,000 new voters coming on who will be overwhelmingly against you. So all you're going to do is lose. But someone like her might say, and I love this about Tony Harp, is that she says when someone tells you I can't, she says I can, and I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
So I think she has a right to decide she's going to
obviously. This is not about a right. We understand right.
Or
and I'm never going to tell a black woman she can't do any damn thing. But in the interest of future life, put this behind you and move to the next thing.
And the thing is
but there's such a thing as respect. For me, for instance, that the governor was going to come
we'll get
and
to
talk about unity.
We'll get to that.
Okay, while she's still hurt.
No, we got
and
that.
in pain. Yeah, but in terms of Burke.
No, what about should Tony Harp run for? She's got people very close to her who told her.
And the people who are close to her are not very bright.
And they told her
they're not bright.
They're
not thinking about this strategically. They're not even thinking about what's in her best interest.
They told her
what they're thinking about is their own interest.
Right. So they told her you're going to win the primary, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to go in the black community and convince everyone to vote for you. So they went only the black community. They tried to scare people. They did not respect black voters. They said we're going to give you some Lee Atwater jive. They came out and they just really wanted not to vote for Tony Harp, and some of them, I did not see this coming. Some of them wanted to vote for Justin Elliker. I misjudged that. And you look at Ward 20. He spent hours there on election day. He had people from the neighborhood working for him. We talked to voters all over town. The big thing was black voters didn't want to vote for Tony. Right or wrong, it might not have been fair. They watched a lot of Mary Boone, whatever. But there were a lot of people who kind of dug him. The Latino vote went for Justin Elliker. The black vote, Ward 20 was her biggest ward in New Hallville. She had to win that big. She lost 500 to 600 votes that she got in the past, and he gained 150.
I mean, I have my feelings on that.
I don't think that the Latino vote went for Justin Elliker. I think that the Latino vote was divided in half.
I never put my.
But the numbers.
I want
to ask about her numbers. Ward 14, clear victory for Elliker. Ward 15, clear victory for Elliker. Ward 16 was for Tony Harp. So that's 2 out of 3 Latino wards. Ward 3, which is black and Latino, there's no science on that, but every single Latino voter we talked to said they were voting
historically, from what I can tell, Latinos never vote. They always, if they have a choice between black and white, they're always going to go white.
But the truth is the same thing applies for the African American.
Well,
they never go with the Latino. Okay.
Well, who's running? What Latino has ran?
That's the problem we have with Hartford and Bridgeport. The African Americans and the Latinos in Hartford and Bridgeport do not create a coalition. The only place where an African American and Latino coalition exists is in New Haven.
So just to Nora's point,
well, now that no longer exists.
You don't agree with the numbers that in 1989, 60% of Latino vote was for John Daniels, 40% for DeStefano? Because you know what I'm wondering coming out of this?
Yeah.
I think Justin Elliker made a point here the other day. He said, of course, race matters in America. Of course, there's racism. Of course, some people voted for him for not good reasons. But he said he really found that when I was on the radio, I was on NPR saying, I think YBC listeners are going with Tony Harp and NPR visitors are going for Elliker. He said, we really weren't hearing that. He said, I met a lot of people, and I know there's some racism in white community, but he said some people, that race is real and it's not the only thing.
But here for
it's
me,
not the only
but you know
factor.
what, Paul? The overarching thing for me, barring race, the Harp campaign sucked.
It really did. So why do they think they can run a general election?
Their campaign sucked. They had no digital game at all. I mean, Elliker, he could have just laid in his bed and ran a campaign.
And he, in fact, ran a good campaign. He had a lot of people working good digital.
I'm not mad at his hustle. His hustle was on point. He was strategic about what he did.
He didn't go low.
The HARP campaign couldn't. They don't even have a digital game. They got a website that is awful.
Never updated.
It's not updated. It's as if they didn't care.
So this morning I was talking
and I'm insulted that they believe that black people should just come out just because. Right. But I did, because I believe in her. I think she's smart. I think she's talented. And I still think she's the best thing for the city. But on the other side of that, the people that she got around her and the people that she has around her advising her don't know what the hell they're talking about. And they don't have her best interests.
What I don't get, why don't you look at evidence? So Boise Kimber, she basically turned over the government to Boise Kimber for 2 years thinking they'll get her reelected. He got all the ministers out.
That's old school stuff.
They got no votes. Boy, they didn't even get votes in the black community. So I don't understand after all these years, and I'm thinking re-examine some of the assumptions I have about how politics work in New Haven, right?
But this is a new day.
It is a new day, and it doesn't mean race doesn't matter. Elliker wasn't saying race doesn't matter. He's saying a lot of things matter. And people do things for a lot of different reasons. And that you don't just assume they're going to do something.
But that's not the heart of race anyway. Like, that's what we have been saying all along in this community. Like, don't just take us for granted and don't assume because we're not monolithic. But I'm also of the mindset of that black people can coalesce a candidate. We can bring our votes together to get behind a candidate that has our interest. Right?
And people really felt HARP didn't, which I don't agree necessarily with. But
I don't agree with that. I think she absolutely did have our interest.
But voters didn't feel that way.
Well, because her message was so disjointed.
And you know what someone said to me this morning? I was talking to long-time African-American people involved in stuff who happened to have been for Elliker. And they said, they noticed at events at the end, and they really liked Toni HARP. They said they'd be there and they'd watch Honda Smith taking her around, and Honda would pull her up to someone and take a selfie. And this person, even though he was for Elliker, really likes HARP, is saying, I'm rooting for him, saying, talk to him, say hi, make a conversation, and this isn't a knock because I don't think it makes her a bad person. She has so many strengths. She just didn't talk or connect with people. I remember the Ward 25 Democratic Committee was voting, really important vote. Her neighborhood, they'd been for her last time, the Ward Committee. This time around, she got to the meeting early, sat with Sheila Carmen, her aide, and her daughter, back of the room, got there early, didn't talk to a single person the whole night.
But you know what I noticed about Toni? What I noticed about Toni,
I don't mind that so much.
Toni works best on one-on-one situation, but she is socially challenged when it comes to dealing with masses and just going up. She's kind of shy going up to people.
The only time I hear people really cavelling on her, saying what a wonderful person, smart though for everything, is when people hear her on Mayor Monday radio.
Yeah,
I'm not just saying that. They hear a person.
No, I think she's great.
Her personality comes out. They see how thoughtful she is and informed and intelligent about issues, how much she cares, how she's not a phony, how she's has all this experience. It really comes out in that format. It's interesting that didn't get communicated.
Yeah.
But also her administration's broken, and people weren't telling her. She was in a moat with a few people who would never tell her the truth. They had such deep problems with management in that administration.
Oh, my God.
And every time it was reported, they kind of put up the barricades. So they got to a point where they were even barring one of our reporters from a public event because they didn't like the questions he asked.
Well, here's what I see.
That's the symbol of when you're really just wanting to hear what you want to hear instead of accepting reality.
Here's what I see. I say that not only on top of what you said, the black community didn't come out for her. She put, we're not monolithic. So it's monolithic. So for us to say, okay, what we're going to do is just focus just on, because we're black, we're going to support her. I didn't even see any yard signs out in forces.
Oh, I know, right?
Hold on.
Exactly, Joe.
It gets even better.
Exactly.
Not even on the 94th floor.
I bought these. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I felt like
7,
I needed to invite Justin for dinner. He was
nine. There were
so
9
much.
altogether.
Hold on. 8 different mailers came to my address. Okay? Not one from Toni HARP.
Now, let me tell you.
So, did she concede my ward? And if she did, there's a big problem.
So it gets
you don't
worse.
concede wards.
Gets worse.
You take numbers from those
where
wards.
She lives in Ward 25, majority white. I did not get I got one flyer from her in 4 weeks. I would walk to work and cross into Ward 24 into a black section.
Mm-hmm.
All of those doors had Toni HARP attack ads on Elliker. I got a thing a day from Elliker. She conceded the entire highest voting wards
And
in the
that's
city.
what the problem is.
That means you have a campaign that doesn't know what it's doing.
And they painted solely on race. We're just going to go and you get that black side, and we'll put you, and don't worry about anything else. Opposed to realizing she's going to, and here's why I got a problem with her, even why I'm not a problem, but why I would tell her be hesitant about running in the general. At the end of the day, like you said, Norma, she has, or like you said, Babs, she has something to live for after, her legacy, whatever it is. Running in against the Democratic machine right now,
yes, not a good idea. Particularly when your campaign sucks.
And
on top of it, even if she wins.
But it was okay for Elliker to do it, right?
No. But even if
he specifically stated that if he lost the primary, he was going to run in November.
But here's the difference.
Okay? But he's got a damn good machine.
But here's the difference, Norman.
Are you kidding me?
Here's the difference. The difference here is she is going to be in the governing position if she wins. And believe me, the machine is not going to allow her. The same people who were against her in the primary, they're not going to allow her to govern properly. So she's going to have to think about that.
Can I suggest a different set of numbers that I happen to know people have always supported her and urged her on or trying to help her look at, and maybe we're all wrong about this? Of course, Norma's right. She has every right to run. And
of course, nobody's saying no.
Gonna do it. But here's the thing: there are 16,000 unaffiliated voters. Mm-hmm. There are 2,450 Republicans. Now, maybe I'm living in the past. Maybe I'm missing something. I think that 90% of that vote goes to Justin Elliker.
I think so,
she starts out. So the reason Elliker was going to run the general wasn't because something's right or wrong, Norma. It's because he knew he had a damn better chance in the general. Every HARP strategist told me, we know that Elliker is in a stronger position for the general, but we'll take the primary. Now, if you win the primary, which is disproportionately your voters, mm-hmm. and you're 2,000 down. Now, I happen to know some of those people she listens to are saying, well, I know some people in the neighborhood didn't come out. They thought you had it. So they might have identified 20 people mm-hmm. who might try to make up, they think, the 2,000 votes Elliker beat her by. That doesn't count people who voted for her but vote for the Democrat in general. And it doesn't count 18,500 registered voters who could now vote in the general. If 1/18
and you better believe
the bottom line is we will never know the true story until the end of the story.
You better believe he will amp up that because they are now they are charged,
exactly,
right?
And now they have the machine.
Now they've got a machine because because if we believe in the Democratic machine,
yep.
And we are Democrats, mm-hmm. what are we going to do?
So machine politics.
So how do you believe in the Democratic machine when the Democratic machine just crossed their arms?
Because they didn't.
Okay.
Because people didn't.
That's a good point. They did. Obviously, they crossed their arms if this is all that came to me.
Not only that, but let's take into consideration how much money did Elliker's campaign have versus how much money did Tony campaign have.
She raised more money than him.
No, she did not. No, she did not.
She raised a lot of money from contractors, which is the way machine.
It doesn't matter, Paul, from who she raised it. The truth is that she had a lot less money than Elliker did.
She was on TV, and my argument is...
And so was he.
My argument is that every dollar he spent got him a vote. My argument is every dollar she spent...
Can you deliver the Latino community for her?
No, but wait a second.
Nobody can.
Okay, and the same with the black community.
Can you deliver the black community for her?
Nobody can.
Do you know, Norma, that in my theory, every dollar...
Neither can I.
Every dollar the HARP campaign spent lost her a vote and got $1 for Elliker. Let me explain. Their media backfired so bad... They were trying to scare black voters into thinking Justin Elliker was Adolf Hitler. So no one bought it, didn't get him votes, but Elliker used every dollar she spent to send out an email saying, hey, look at what Tony HARP just did. And we tracked it, Norma. On those days, he doubled his fundraising take. So she could have had all the money in the world, and then she would have lost by more because black voters did not want to vote for her. And that was just such a strong message.
This is the same thing that happened to Daniels. We've been through this before.
Why?
You know what? This is the same thing that happens to Daniels' campaign, okay? The second time around, he barely made it because the African Americans defected. Okay? And
you know why the African American defected? Do you know why?
There's always reasons why we do what we do.
Then we got to go with the reasons because you can't just make that statement and then say, whatever. Because black people like Latinos want to vote for who they want to vote for too. Yeah. I'm one of these old school people who believes that black people can come together and vote on a candidate based on their interests. And if they're black, I'm for it. I'm voting for everybody that's black. That's where I stand. But everybody's not in that place. And this is how we got here. Mm-hmm. Because everybody liked that whole Elliker. Ellica came into this game with the conversation about change.
People want to change.
But changing in and of itself is seductive.
Yeah,
but what does that mean?
A lot of people don't like change. They're very comfortable where they're
something,
at.
Paul? There was a there was a question out there that I even asked on my program when the mayor came in about this 11%. This is when she was running against Packer, and I said they're gonna need a better explanation than that. And then in last week, debate. The same question was asked, and now it was personalized because was it Macy? She asked, "What do you say to me now that my mortgage is $400 more?" And it was like the answer is comparing us to West Haven, we're lower. Comparing us to Hamden, we're lower. Comparing us to all the surrounding towns, East Haven. Nobody cares. What about saying we have the number one response? Do you know we're the number one response fire department in the city, not just the state?
But some people think
but those services have to be paid for.
Right. So
explain to people where their money went.
So on this one, I am completely sympathetic to Tony Harper. I'll tell you why. I think there are two factors about taxes that just make it impossible for us ever to have an intelligent conversation in the political realm about taxes. One is that starting with Proposition, whatever number it was, 8 over in California, the wealthy and the right wing have changed the conversation in the country so that we see government as them, not us, and taxes as their money, not ours. And in order to I think, fool people into not supporting the common good, we've said that anyone who ever raises taxes is bad. You can't. But the second thing is happening. In New Haven, Samuel Rossley really nailed this point, I thought. New Haven, we have 2-year mayoral terms. Mm-hmm. So nobody can ever raise taxes in the year they're running again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she waited too long because she didn't want to run. She was running again. So she did it all at once. Yeah. So everyone saw this 11% number. They didn't see 2.5% explained the way Stefano would do it. Yeah. So this combination of our broken political dialogues, you can't be honest about how government costs some money, and this expectation you can never raise taxes to this idea. And yes, she's responsible for
But did anyone even try to explain where? No. The explanation was, we're lower than Hamden. We're lower than West Haven. We're lower than East Haven. Okay, we're lower. But please tell me, what did you do with the 11% that you took?
She did explain it.
If she just ran off a list of stuff that she did, I got cranes in the air.
So Joe,
I'm building out the city.
Let's see the point. Let's say if Joe's right, it's always fine after a race to talk about how the person who lost could have done something different. I think there's a more fundamental issue is that some years it's just not your year. Yeah. She's been in office 32 years. She's done a great job. She had a lousy third term. Everything. John DeStefano had a lousy third term.
He only as good as your
John
last thing.
John DeStefano had a much worse third term than she did. Yeah. He was at a different point in his career. She's had a great career, and people around her did not tell her what was happening. Instead, they lifted up the drawbridge, denied it, and made it worse. Yeah. And then she ran an election. She could not.
And this is why I say that
she should just perfect and superwoman on the trail.
Paul,
she would not have
won. If her campaign, if she would have came to a closer margin, and I didn't know that those 18,000 votes were out there, I would say, you know what, girl, get in there and fight. Yep. But this, with the structure she has in place now,
it makes no sense.
It does not make any sense.
And I love the mayor. Because I think she's done such great things for the city. And
that Elliker team got the eye of the tiger now. Yes. They are primed and ready to hit these streets as soon as she says A or B.
Oh, you think they're waiting on that?
It's not just the not Harp. He's now the guy who ran a very impressive primary election.
Took your hand off, man.
And it takes, and I give this to Tony Harp too. It's a great thing to run for public office and want to do good things and put yourself out there and be vulnerable. So he won it. He's in a strong position now, and it's up to her ultimately, obviously, because.
Yeah. But you know what, Paul? The story here is that he's only got 1 year to prove himself.
That's true.
Because next year is election time. And you have a whole bunch of people that want to be mayor of the city.
Well, there's always a whole bunch of people who want to be mayor, but only the people who actually show up count.
Right.
The only people who show up listen, Elliker had the courage to do it. But a lot of
people didn't run this time because they respect Tony Harp and they liked her.
Well, that's too bad. Okay? That's on them.
Right, that's why I won, like Bill Clinton. The people everyone thought should run against George Bush said they can't win. Bill Clinton said,
and I get that.
I got a message. I got the drive. I think I can do it. Mm-hmm. So what I have, if Tony Harp runs again, I have a secret strategy for her of how she can win again.
Gonna share it or you gonna keep it secret?
I think I'll just tell you guys, okay?
Okay.
Here's what you do.
If you have my number, call me. I'll tell you.
Get a whole new campaign staff.
Just when it looked like
Get a whole
Tony
new
Harp was down in
cabinet.
her re-election campaign on that last weekend, everyone got a surprise. The New Haven Register.
I can't hear.
The New Haven Register endorsed Tony Harp for election. People said, "Whoa, the Register endorsed her." They sent it out. We're gonna win.
She would have been better off shooting somebody.
So here's what.
Well, the New Haven Independent spent all this time really. How many negative articles did the New Haven
and
Independent
how many positive
write?
articles?
Okay.
What other news organization went to every one of her 5 daily press conferences she had?
And every time it was something negative.
Nope. Every time some positive. So
there was something positive, but a lot more negative.
Well, it's not our fault. City Hall.
Do you know that the Ellicott camp is also saying that New Haven Independent wasn't fair to them? They were complaining that. They were complaining. So when both sides are complaining, you were fair.
Yeah. And the New Haven Independent don't work for neither one of them.
Here's my secret strategy, though. I am going to work for Tony Hart now and get her reelected. What she's got to do if she runs again is go to New Haven Register and say, "Please don't endorse me." Say Justin Elliker will save New Haven. Whatever you do, endorse Justin Elliker.
Watch yourself there, Harry.
You know, these 18,000 new voters will come out. The polls are going to say that Justin Elliker is going to win by like 10,000 votes. And the weekend before the general election, New Haven says editorial says, "Vote for Justin Elliker. He's what we need." And then you might see a different result.
I mean, he ran a good campaign. Let's start there.
Yes, he did.
ran a damn good campaign. I saw his signs early.
No
I got
broom
He showed
sweeps
up.
well.
He showed up.
He showed up.
He did. He showed up, and he was at everything. And for a minute there, I was like,
My thing is, if he
"Are
was
you
in
my
New
cousin?"
if he was in New Hallville,
No, but you know, this
if
is
he was in
very
New Hallville,
similar.
why wasn't she in my building?
Okay, Tamika MacArthur says she was betrayed by the machine. Can I say one thing about machine? What is a machine? Machine is transactional politics where you give people contracts and they give you money. You give them jobs. They work for you to keep a job. That organization was for Tony Harp, not for Justin Elliker. Now, Justin Elliker had revenge people who got kicked out of that, so they worked for him for that reason. But the machine, everyone says machine, machine, machine. Every machine lever that was pulled for Tony Harp. But to some extent, people just didn't want to vote for her. Right or wrong?
When you talk about machine, I thought you're talking about the Democratic Party.
The Democratic
not
Party,
the contractors.
The Democratic Party, first of all, it's a symbiosis. The whole history going back to the Daily Machine.
The machines is usually the party.
The party.
Yeah.
It's usually the back room. The guys who are in the back room
and they get
cranking it up.
contracts and jobs for people who in turn give them money.
That hasn't existed in New Haven for a long time.
But we went to the fundraisers. The Giordano fundraiser, it did exist. That's where Tony got a job. And who is the party? It's the Democratic Town Committee. They endorsed Tony Harp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that is the machine right there. The town committee.
So I'm not saying pro Harp, pro Elliker. Elliker had his people he's gonna have to answer to now who did bad things, and Harp got rid of them, and now he's gonna have to see are they gonna let them do
he
bad
got to
things?
deal with that.
He does. But the machine, there was no machine for Elliker. Elliker built his own organization. When he wanted to get on the ballot, Democratic Town Committee said, Tony Harp, we support you, and you're gonna be on the ballot. You don't have to do anything for it. So in 4 days, Elliker got 100 people who are not the machine. And they got him on the ballot before you could say, "Hey, you turning left? Can I catch a ride?" I mean, it was like in 2 seconds. So this whole machine thing is nonsense. That's just saying, "I'm mad, I lost, so I'm going to call you guys the machine."
No.
There
was
no machine.
No, the machine. The machine.
You're talking about the leadership of the Democratic Party.
Right.
Yeah, but how did they help her?
That's right. They didn't. They didn't. They crossed their arms. On the contrary.
You know, I gotta say.
Well, Marty Looney crossed his arms because Tony Harp's administration attacked him publicly over and over again. So he said, "Screw you."
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, Vinnie Morrow, who actually is the town chairman and a good guy, he does not get out the vote. It's the ward co-chairs and the ward.
No. His dad got out the vote.
His dad did.
His dad was he was an operator. He was. Politics might have changed, but the same rule. But it's the same rule. But it's the same rule applied. Guess what? When you're the town chair, you get those votes out. You make those calls to those wards.
How did he get a vote out?
You make the calls to those wards. You get those ward committees going.
You know where he was on election day?
What's that?
He was at O'Toole's having a drink with the guy running for attorney general.
Okay, so there you have.
Because I was
where I was on election
But going
day?
back, to the Martin Looney deal.
Oh, I read about that. On
In terms of Martin Looney,
that sounded like a fun date.
The reason why there was a break between because they were best of friends, Looney.
He was her first endorser last time.
Right. It was because Tony supported the expansion of Tweed. Okay, and Marty cannot do that because his constituents do not want the expansion.
But do you remember what
so
happened?
So that was
that?
the main reason why the first breakup, and then it continued after that.
The first breakup was 2 years before that. When she raised taxes, she blamed it on Marty for not getting more money, and they put out spreadsheets saying
correct.
They specifically said publicly, her administration, Marty Looney has failed us. Marty Looney, here's the chart that shows how little money he gets us. And they did a public attack on Marty Looney. That was 2 years ago. When Tweed happened, it wasn't because she took a different position. She knew he needed to do that. Again, they publicly wrote a letter and embarrassed Marty Looney and attacked him personally. So they twice picked a fight they couldn't win.
Listen, at the end of the day, for me, she ran a trash campaign. Like, her team did not deliver for her.
Right.
I don't think they know what they were doing. She had no digital presence. She had a website that wasn't even updated. I mean, I don't even know. I saw very few yard signs. I didn't get no mailers either.
And on top of that,
we don't have yards, so we mailers work in my building.
God bless Honda Smith for trying to do what she was trying to do.
And you want to know what's interesting?
Everybody else.
You want to know what's interesting? We talk about Martin Looney. Guess what? When he was running for re-election last year, man, my mailbox was stuffed. Every week I got something from Martin Looney this. But that's Martin Looney did that. Martin Looney. No, these are equivalent to the lawn signs, period, when you're going into the building. And if she did all this for downtown and got all these apartment buildings downtown and all of that stuff, there should have been a bigger presence.
She wrote off your ward. I was at your ward's polling place.
Yeah.
There were all these undecided voters.
Yeah.
And the only workers out there were Ellicott people. And I watched them say to this woman, here's our guy right there. Go talk to him. So then you got a chance to try to change your mind. But I'll tell you something. If Toni Harp had run the greatest campaign in the world,
she still wouldn't have won.
She wouldn't have won because it just wasn't her year.
No.
I don't even blame her for it.
I think that's just the nature of the beast. The longer you are running for something, the less votes you end up getting.
32 years.
I understand
after 20 years, they soured on DeStefano. Every incumbent has done something.
Yeah, after 20 years, they soured on him as mayor.
Right.
And this is only after 5 years that they soured on her.
But his third term was
but you know what?
But that's exactly my point. If after 6 years in him as mayor, they said, he still won. But then again, he did not have that strong of a fight after his 6th year.
But he did what he had it. But then it was Looney trying to knock him off. Two things happened. He was still early in his career. He changed gears and changed the whole way he did things strategically. Mm-hmm. And he says after 20 years, they're tired of him. She's been here 32 years, and the world changes.
But she was not as mayor as 32 years,
but she didn't change the way she did.
But you know what? A big part of it also, big part of it is, can we connect with the mayor? We know her. We like her. We hear her on
But the problem I have with her, Joe, is that all the people that she hired who didn't have her back,
So true!
They did not, I said this already. When you're the mayor, you need to have people who got your back. This is chess. This is not checkers. This is chess.
Look at the debate. Look at the debate last Thursday. How many departments were in the hallway there recruiting and meeting people? No.
Listen, she had people go to a finance meeting talking about want to usurp her budget, right? Yeah. That's the beginning of that foolishness. Yeah, you got people who the community can't believe that you keep giving jobs and contracts to.
And most recently, the health director who says at press conference, I'm not doing what you say, and then proceeds not to do it. I told another former mayor I would have worried about her safety and health if she was working for a different mayor. Now, here's something. Tamiko Arthur, who respectfully, and thank you for posting, is taking a different position from us. She posted something I think we're all going to agree about Ned Lamont tried to come to New Haven and have a unity rally when he isn't even the mayor yet, because Ned Lamont is governor in part thanks to Tony Harp.
Oh, he's the governor?
In part thanks to Tony Harp.
We have a governor?
Tony Harp went out on a limb early in a primary, Democratic primary for governor, and it was the prize endorsement.
Yep. And I said she should have ran for governor.
She took the endorsement, and she endorsed him, and in return, other people dropped out of the race.
Listen, white people going white
and
people.
became the governor. Ned Lamont, in turn, did not endorse her in a primary. Now, there might be reasons. Let's say, okay, Ned Lamont, maybe you got some reasons for not endorsing her in a primary, right?
No. No. He don't get that. Okay, no. She endorsed you. She put her neck way out there. Okay. You owe.
Fair.
And you ain't up for election right now.
Exactly.
But it gets worse. Okay, even if Joe's right. What got worse was, okay, he didn't endorse her, she endorsed him. Then the second she loses, when she hasn't even had time to respectfully bow out if she wants and not have a fight with
He's
Democrats,
ready to run again.
He announces he's coming to New Haven for a unity rally at the bar.
Who are you going to unify? White people? And some black people? A handful of...
Well, here's what I got to say.
But what gets me is I don't think it occurred to him. That's what gets me about Clueless Nettie. It didn't occur to her of how skanky he was being to this woman.
Clueless Nettie, I'm loving it.
Or what's even scarier, it does.
He was skanking
and he
this woman
doesn't care.
He's skanking this woman who stuck her neck out
Yeah.
for him. I think he is clueless.
I don't think he's clueless.
I do. I've
See,
seen
Paul,
it on
you
other
want
occasions.
to
No, I've
see
seen it
him
on other
clueless,
occasions.
but that's just listen. This is the era of mediocre white men.
It is.
Mediocre white men wake up and say, "I want," and therefore they go and do it.
But
That
I agree. But I watched him be so close. I remember one at the early debate that came in New Haven with all the candidates, and all of a sudden everyone was attacking him, and he couldn't stand. Susan Bice was going after him, and I was with Mark Pasniuk was from the Mirror, and obviously everyone was attacking because the day before he had gotten the endorsement of state AFL-CIO, big endorsement. It was showing that there was going to be all this muscle for him in the primary, and he had no idea that was the reason. So afterwards, Pasniuk and I went up to get a comment from him about this. He goes, "What do you mean?" He's looking around. "Oh, they were attacking me? Like, why?" I said, "You don't think it had anything to do with that endorsement yesterday?" And it's like light bulb went off. Oh, that's what's going on. He just thought, I'm this rich guy who had all this money. That makes me better. I'll just buy everybody.
Yeah.
Which is what he did. But he didn't buy Harp. Harp really stuck out.
I think. Listen, I still believe that Mayor Harp is the mayor that we need, but at the same time, she didn't run a good campaign.
Right.
She just didn't.
But
and
I don't think she had a good administration.
and she doesn't have a good. And she doesn't have a
It
good
fell apart,
administration. I don't know who in that administration I could even hang some praise on. And
there's some.
There's some, I'm sure.
But it's dysfunctional.
But
It's really
she got
dysfunctional.
hammered for. I mean, Nemerson,
Right.
James. I mean, just
all of them. All of them.
It's just
Everyone. She got
one
nailed for
punch
everyone.
after another.
Yeah.
And none of them just
Board of
they
Education.
dragged
She
their
got it all.
feet. The Board of Education.
Those last two terms, she decided she was going to take charge of Board of Education. She decided to bring in Boise Kimber, who brought her Carol Burks in exchange for doing transactional politics and making people rich rather than take care of kids and screw up the budget, do everything sneaky. So she dug her grave, because when you really talk to people, that Board of Ed thing was huge.
But people are really incensed about that Board of Ed. I'm not as incensed about the Board of Ed, because I think anybody who would have walked into that job. But there is something to be said for somebody who is politically savvy and understands how these waters work. I don't think Dr. Burks understood the level of political waters that she had to swim in. I think she thought,
and how she was brought, the terms under which she was brought,
and the terms that she was, which was just like a target on her back,
and
right?
that's machine. You want to talk about machine?
Yeah.
That's like, we're going to help you, and we're going to work on election, and you're going to get
because
this person a contract.
But honestly, Paul, the mayor abandoned her a long time ago.
I know.
At that first press conference about education, and she didn't have her there. I was like, oh.
Oh, what a mess. And, and I abandoned reminding people to listen to Pundit Friday for a half hour running. My apologies. You're listening to Pundit Friday.
We were heated, man.
So
this
now,
is a great one.
We think New Haven's the center of our universe. But
it is. It is.
Oh, God, what happened in Bridgeport is mind-blowing.
Oh!
So New Haven, we had an election where Justin Elicker has convinced me that I need a little bit to update my frames of reference for how politics works. But hell no, in Bridgeport, that was 1964.
What?
What happened in Bridgeport? So here you had Joe Ganim running again.
Yeah.
And he was facing a state senator, Marilyn
Second
Moore,
chance.
African-American.
And I hosted a fundraiser for Maryland.
Right now,
so.
as usual, the pundits like me said,
I like her.
okay, we would have liked her, like I would have liked her to win. But I said she's not really running a big campaign. But guess what happened on election day? It sounds like people just pissed he ran for governor after they let him be mayor again. She won on the ballot.
She won on the machine.
And then, it was funny in New Haven is Justin Elicker, to his own surprise, actually won the absentee ballots, which was really surprising. So Joe Ganim loses on the machines, and then he somehow overwhelmingly wins on the absentee ballots. We know how crooked absentee ballot collection can be and the old machines, but especially when the people in the privacy, the voting booths, were picking someone over someone who's been mayor a long time, and all of a sudden. And so they pulled that one maneuver. She's challenging that now.
Good.
And the second part was...
That's a legit challenge.
Yeah. Yep. And there's a second legit challenge. So then the second part was Marilyn Moore had petitioned to be on the ballot in November on an independent line because she figures I lose the primary just like Justin Elicker. So it's not just about race. She was the black candidate, but she knew there were a lot of people in Bridgeport who were tired of corrupt government or whatever, right? So she knew she might have a better chance in the general election. And then you have to go through the registered voters and clerks in your own city to get on the ballot. So after it was too late, at the last second, they tell the Secretary of State's office, oh, Marilyn Moore's paperwork was messed up. She can't be on the ballot. And all of a sudden, only 14 of her 16 petition sheets or whatever
show up.
Could be found.
Mm-hmm.
That was the old.
But
school
does she
stuff.
have copies of those 16?
I'm
I'm
quite
sure
sure she does.
Fighting
Of
everything.
course she does.
Wow,
She's smart.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
like in New Haven, we're all pie in the sky. Like, yeah, we have those. We go.
See, it's
go
that
door to
kind.
door, but we're
See, it's
thinking
that
about,
kind
like,
of
what's
stuff.
good for our city.
But you know what, Paul?
What's
It's that
just
kind
and
of
right.
politics that that turns people off
Mm.
and makes people go, see, this
They're
is
all
why
corrupt.
this is why I don't participate
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
because look.
they're all corrupt. You know,
But I remember you
gotta.
guys were really defending Ganem when he came back. You guys changing your tune?
No, I know.
No,
No.
It's not a
Norma's-
matter of
Norma's
changing your
mighty
tune
quiet
here.
here.
No, it's
No.
not a matter of changing
He
your tune
has
here.
a right to
To
run.
That's where we were. with-
Second chance, third chance, fifth
Yes.
chance, whatever.
And he has a right to rig illegally the system so that a black
But
woman
that's not
can't
That's
win when
different
she's more
that's
from
vulnerable.
him
mutually
running.
exclusive, Paul.
Yeah, but Paul, here, you raised something just now when you talk about the absentee ballots, where we only had like 500 absentee ballots.
700.
Okay, 700 here in the city of New Haven. We knew, that's a comfort zone of the Harp administration, the Harp camp, not the administration, but her election camp, that thought that they didn't have to go out and get new voters. What is wrong with them? They were supposed to go and lock in 2,000
They should have been
new
voters.
voters.
And by the way,
Lock them in.
Yeah.
and
They should
bring
have
them
been-
on.
She wasn't hungry enough.
That's it, Norma. That's Norma
But
said
the
it.
thing-
But she
Dude.
was Norma. I
The
thought
number
that
is
from
2,000.
the beginning when she was like hesitant about
Yeah.
running. Remember
Right,
the
and she
little
didn't-
delay?
and she didn't talk enough about like her own brother was killed by violence. That peaked out. That could have really helped her. But in any case, she did win. Marilyn Moore did win.
Yeah,
That's the thing here. She did win, and it got stolen from her.
yeah. So I hope she fights.
Yes.
I hope
Well,
she
it's
fights.
like the Republicans stole ours.
That's right.
Remember?
Tamika MacArthur points out Jason Bartlett is a class act. Personal vendettas. I agree with Tamika MacArthur.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Bartlett is a what?
Class act.
Listen. I don't
I
have
Did a
love
lot of good.
Listen.
No one's perfect.
Listen,
He made some
everybody
mistakes.
needs somebody like that in their camp.
Mhm.
And if for not for nothing, he kept a lot of balls in the
Do you know
air.
the real reason he got pushed out?
What's that?
Now, Jason Bartlett made mistakes. I made
Yeah.
mistakes. He did some great things for her, beginning with you.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He kept
Do you know why
balls
he
in
was
the
out?
air for her.
He
You know
sure
why
did.
You know why
Nobody
he was out?
else did that.
Do you know why he was out?
Why?
My theory. Again, I'm always big shot thinking I know everything.
UNION.
She, Jason Bartlett was the only person standing between Unite Here and the mayor's office.
I agree.
And Unite Here was always gunning for Jason Bartlett.
I agree.
So when the subpoena from the FBI had to do with stuff in his office, that was sloppy. I don't think it was criminal, but it was sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sloppy. If I had his job, I would have been sloppier, okay?
Mhm.
And he is, he's accountable for that. So I think the terms for Unite Here to support Tony Harp was to get rid of Jason Bartlett. So she did. And then Unite Here's membership wasn't really behind Tony Harp. So
No,
they
I
didn't
never
throw
thought
down.
because
They
I've
didn't throw down.
seen.
Taisha Walker threw down. And there were people who threw down for her and believed in her for good reason. She's a really good pro-labor person.
Did they go walk these wards?
Nope.
Some did, some didn't.
I didn't see that.
Tony Harp, I don't know if she's posted now, but it's under her name. People are so mad about absentee ballots, even though a few years ago we campaigned to make that process easier and more accessible at referendum. I agree with her.
Mm.
Although I also think
Did she just post that?
it says Tony and Harp. I don't know from her account. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So whatever she decides,
May
I
I
want to send out as we wilding up. I want to send out a lot of love.
Whatever
The
she
two-
decides, I'm with her.
Oh, whatever.
I'm with her. Like
Whatever she
I
decides,
don't think
I
it,
think we send love to both two people who put themselves out there and worked hard to lead our city and try to make New Haven better. And that's Justin Elliker and Tony Harp. I think they ran a hard-fought race. I think they have New Haven's best interests at heart.
I agree.
And whatever happens with both of them,
I agree. I just wish
they're
she got
good-
a better
they're-
campaign.
They're good people in our community.
Honest to God.
I'm with you on that. You know, and the bottom line is,
and if-
look,
and
we
if
got to
anybody-
call it. You have to call a spade a spade.
Anybody
a spoon
take
a spoon.
issue with me? Meet me in my Harvest. We could talk about
But
it.
you know
tequila.
what? You're only as strong as the people you
Oh, yes.
surround yourself
That's it.
with.
Yep.
Okay? And it's very hard when you're on your own running something.
It is
If you
very
have
hard.
a lot of people around you that really believe in you and that push you and everything, then it's easier to work because you thrive from their energy.
But
Listen,
also, sometimes
you know?
history is on your side. Sometimes history is in your side. So my final theory is just like in 1989, John Stefano took it hard when he lost. He said, you know what? It wasn't my year. People wanted something else. And it doesn't mean I'm bad or they don't like me. And when he left, he said, my time was up. I think this year, Tony Harper just wasn't her year, and a lot of years were her year. 32 years
I don't buy
have
that.
been her year.
I don't buy
I don't
that
buy
either.
that.
I don't buy
I think
that.
it was. Yeah,
Because
I think her time.
She's still very young, and there's a lot of
I
stuff
think she's
Yes,
no, no,
out
no.
there.
Why?
It's not age, it's not
the
age.
only
She's
thing that we
still-
can look at is
She's a
what
wise woman. So there's a lot of things out there for her.
My only thing is, I want to preserve this mayor's legacy. I want to preserve her reputation. I want to see the preservation of that. And I don't want to see that if she does run again, somebody drag her through the mud and to the point of where she can't govern if she does win. And that's my hesitation on this whole thing because I want her to be a good governor.
Listen, we got.
I want her to govern properly.
If she doesn't run again and Elica becomes mayor, then the clock starts and we got 2 more years for change again.
Right. Okay. And sometimes when you win, you lose, and sometimes when you lose, you win.
That's right. Fact check. Ed Corey, your campaign manager, said I meant to post that comment as me, not the mayor. So that was Ed Corey, your campaign manager. It wasn't Tony Hart.
Do you have her permission to be doing that?
I don't even know. Her legacy.
And who is that?
He's the campaign manager.
Oh, really? You suck.
No, he doesn't.
Whoa!
Suck. He doesn't suck.
All right.
Ed Corey was not,
he was good.
He was not the one calling the shots. He was the help.
I'm sorry. He's a campaign manager.
He was not calling the shots.
Well, who was calling the shots?
Well, who's calling the shots?
Honda Smith.
So why is he the campaign manager?
Sheila Carmen, because
he
was doing the work. Put this out.
No, but then that's not a campaign manager. That's a foot soldier. Campaign manager is the one who tells you, well, this is what we're going to do.
See, just this little exchange right here tells you all I need to know.
The bottom line is the campaign manager said, can you imagine someone tell the likes of Vinnie Martin Sr. that, oh, you step aside, I got Delito's campaign. Can you imagine someone telling that? Can you just blink to think that is possibly coming out of someone's mouth?
And can you just thank people for listening today on Pundit Friday and WNHH FM? Can we just thank the best pundits in the universe, Babril Ivy, Norma Rodriguez, and Joe Ugly, who's the detonator of digital dynamite, master of memes, christener of creative crowdsource crockery, and the premier punk-popping pugilist. We got a new day in New Haven, but every day is a good day in New Haven. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to Pundits that we already mentioned. We're going to take it out with the Afro-Semitic Experience, performing I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free for the group CD, A Plea for Peace. This is Paul Bass inviting you to fly free with us all weekend long at WNHH New Haven's home
for community radio.